What's going on, guys? I'm Zach from the Lumios Post, where we talk about all things Pokemon, and today we will be talking about why you should be very excited for Scarlet and Violet. Scarlet and Violet is right around the corner at this point. I mean, we are, I think at the time of posting this, it'll be 2 weeks away, which is wild, because at the time of recording this, it is like a little over 3 weeks away, and just 2 weeks feels so much different. Like, that's insane. So we're going to talk about today why you should be very excited for these games. I know that when Pokemon games come out, there's a lot of controversy surrounding them, graphics and, dex cuts, all that talk. But today we're just going to look at the positives, some things that we've really wanted in the franchise that they're finally bringing. And first up is the obvious. They've been shoving it down our throats since day one of telling us about these games, and that is that these games will be fully open world. Now, this means that there will be no more annoying little blocks like where you're just trying to go to the next town and they're saying, oh, well, you actually can't go past here because the power's out. But, there's a trainer walking right behind them as they say that. No more things like that. You're going to be able, from the very beginning, if you want to go up to the 8th gym and challenge it with your level 5 Fuecoco and just get absolutely demolished by their level 50s, that's just guessing, not leaks, Pokemon, then go for it. You can do that, and that is just beautiful. It's what I've wanted. It's also really nice because we will be able to really craft our team from the beginning. I know I am a person who always uses the pseudo-legendary, not always, but a lot of the time uses the pseudo-legendary, and they often lock the pseudo to very late in the game, but that's not something I need to worry about now because I can go and get it now. And it might be over-leveled, but that's when we get into the next big thing to be excited for, and that's the picnic feature, which is where you have your Pokemon out. You can make sandwiches for them if you want. You can play football or soccer to Americans like myself with your Pokemon, and you can even occasionally get an egg from it. So you could just go ahead and grab the pseudo, put only it in your party, get an egg from it, or it in a Ditto. I don't know how it's going to work, but then hatch the egg, boom, you've got the pseudo from the very beginning. So that is going to be really, really cool. Another thing that it makes these games really, really different from other games that we've had, and should be a reason you should be very excited for this, is going to be just that immersion from these picnics. Like, your Pokemon are there, they're playing around, they're sleeping, and it's just, they look a little more lifelike. Even the textures on these Pokemon, Pokemon that are more furry or fluffy, you can see it. You can see the detail of their fur or fluff. Pokemon like Magnemite, that is, made of metal, has this shine to it like metal does in real life. It's no longer, just these very plain, basic colors. It's not like that at all. And then the textures, their face are no longer textures. When they smile, it's not a little texture on a 2D face. No, you actually see like it's 3-dimensional mouth open. And that's just really, really cool. And that is also where we get into the next thing. And it's a small thing in the grand scheme of things, but I've seen a ton of people, including myself, complaining about this for a while now. They fixed a lot of Pokemon models. So there was this big thing back in X and Y where they did these sky battles, and what that meant was they had these Pokemon that could be in the air, could battle each other, and you were like up in the sky battling with your Pokemon. Cool on paper, but it took a lot of really good designs and kind of ruined them. Things like Swellow, who are just kind of hovering there in midair, Salamence too, and a bunch of others. But we actually know from these games, we've seen Salamence is grounded while you've got all your party out, and so that is very, very exciting. I know that that's kind of a stupid thing to get this excited over, but I love it. It's the immersion for me. When I send my Salamence out, he wouldn't be hovering. He would be grounded and maybe fly up to use a few moves, or in certain scenarios, like if he's battling over water. And that's the case here. The next thing is going to be just a very different story. Now, I'm not going to get into story spoilers here. To be honest, I don't really know enough story spoilers to spoil the story, but we know just by looking at these games, they're going to be a very different kind of story. I mean, Koraidon and Miraidon, we know we get pretty early on, so we can explore the vast region of Paldea. And that's a little bit different for a legendary. Now, it probably won't be like actually on our team, but us just seeing the legendary this early on in the story is very different from a normal story. We also have tons of interesting characters like version exclusive professors, a version exclusive school, and of course plenty of rivals and just miscellaneous characters and very unique gym leader designs that should altogether blend for a very interesting story. Speaking of gyms, that's where we get into the next thing. Not only are these gyms like able to be done in any order, but gyms aren't it. It's no longer just deal with the gyms and the evil team as you go throughout them and then beat the league at the end. No, there's 3 stories in this game. You have the gyms, the traditional Pokemon battles against gym leaders. You have this thing called the Path of Legends, which is where you'll be battling giant Pokemon called, I almost said Totem Pokemon, but they're called Titan Pokemon, but they are very similar to Totem Pokemon or Noble Pokemon in the sense that they're a lot larger and they're going to be a lot more powerful. And when you do these Path of Legends things, you're going to have to find the Titan, battle the Titan, it's going to run off, and then you're going to have to battle it like 2 more times, or at least we know that's the situation with Cloth. So I would assume it's the situation with whatever other Titans we see. But yeah, that's very exciting. And that's not it either. There's also Starfall Street, which is kind of how they've incorporated the villain team this time around, Team Star. And it is you raid their bases using this new feature called the Let's Go feature, where it's just these auto battles. You send out your Pokemon and fight them. You have to do it in a time limit. And at the end, it culminates with you fighting the various base leaders and their Pokemon. And apparently a vehicle will get in your way as well. So it's going to be very interesting. And I love that these 3 different things aren't just all straight battles. Like, they're all a little bit different in their own way. They do all culminate with a battle because at the end of the day, that is the core of the franchise, right? But it's a very different style of battling each one, and so that's super, super cool. Now, the next thing is going to be the gimmick. The gimmick is something to be so excited for, guys. This gimmick is going to just really tear open the metagame. This gimmick basically changes your Pokemon's type, but allows it to keep its original stabs, which are same type of attack bonuses. So, for example, if I have my Staraptor and I change it to a fighting type, well, now my close combat is a little bit stronger because Staraptor is a fighting type, but it still keeps its normal type attack boost and its flying type attack boost. It's just no longer normal and flying type. And this is really good because it just provides multiple different ways that you can use this in the metagame. I mean, you can use this defensively, you can use this offensively, in several different ways. And it really breaks the game because now every single Pokemon can be 18 different types plus whatever its original typing is. So really 19 different types, and that's absurd. I mean, this really is going to be a game changer, and I think it's the shakeup we need. So often we see in VGC, I don't know if you folks watch VGC, but I love to watch the World Championships and the other various video game championship, I guess you'd call them tournaments, that they have throughout the year. But VGC always culminates with people using like the same 6 mons. Like, it will literally be everyone's teams has at least the same 3 mons on them, and the other 3 might be a little diverse, but not really. Like, people get so excited when they see just 1 mon that's a little different, and that's really sad. But I think the Terrestrial gimmick will actually allow us to see some diversity in this field, and we really needed that. Now, another thing to be excited for, if you have an interest in the competitive side of things, but you have never really been able to get into it, because it can be a lot to take in, IVs, EVs, physical special split, what moves are better than other moves, sacrificing things like accuracy for power, just all kinds of stuff, and it's a lot to take in. But Pokemon has, with every game, been taking strides to make it a little bit easier to get access to all this kinds of stuff for new players. I mean, they have the raid systems, they have with breeding changing, we can assume that there'll be a lot of different mechanics there. And of course, last game they added items like Nature Mints and the ability patch, which allows us to access a Pokemon's hidden ability, and the Nature Mints allows us to change our Pokemon's nature, or rather what its nature does, which is really, really exciting. I mean, it makes it so much easier for everyone, and I think that's great because I think everybody should have the option to be able to battle it. It should be a little difficult because I think that's just part of the fun of being a Pokemon trainer, but it's a little too hard at this point, especially for newcomers. Like I said, it can be very overbearing. I remember being there in Gen 6, and I'm so happy that's changed. So yeah, a lot to really look forward to in these games, guys. I mean, TMs will be more accessible, so that's another kind of easier to get Pokemon competitive type thing that's coming in these games. And it's going to be a lot of fun. The graphics have improved, the Pokemon textures have improved. I'm super excited for it. Let me know how excited you are for it in the comments below, and let me know what your most excited thing about these games are. Obviously, new Pokemon's a big bonus too, right? Didn't even mention that. What's wrong with me? Again, be sure to let me know what your favorite thing is in the comments below. Did I miss something? Let me know. Let's just get this hype train going. Let's get excited, guys. It's so close. Be sure to also like, comment, subscribe. We will, of course, have tons and tons of Scarlet and Violet videos coming up, so you don't want to miss those. So again, like, comment, subscribe, and also hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss those videos. Until next time, I will see all of you later.